Hey there, and welcome to my little slice of heaven here in Texas. The bluebonnets are glorious. Can you see them? And I wanted to get a chance to film outside, even though it's cold and blustery and cloudy. Not the best for photographing the bluebonnets, but they're so perfect today that I could not resist. Today I'm talking about something that I absolutely love, and it falls in line perfectly with my intentional year. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachel Ridge, and I am an author, an artist, a coach, and a speaker. I'm a late bloomer who discovered my own creativity and my personal gold late in life, and I love talking about midlife and beyond and how to make this season of life the best it can possibly be with what you have. And I am proof that it works. So here I am out in the field, and I'm talking about something that is a little bit unrelated to bluebonnets, but I'm talking about the intention of clarity, and specifically in my intentional year, I picked clarity as the intention for the month of March. And this week in my newsletter, I talked about how journaling is a powerful tool for gaining clarity in your life. And I've been a journaler since I was in high school. Of course, when I was in high school, I was a prolific journaler, talking about my high school angst, who I had a crush on, and how fat I thought I was, and my skin was breaking out, and who was going to take me to the homecoming dance, all that good stuff that was important. And then there were a lot of years that I did not do any journaling, especially when my kids were little and my hands were full, and I just could not catch up. My mind at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day was just mush. In fact, I just ran across this little gem from 1995, and look how typical. I have, I did really well for a few weeks, and then, pardon the jet, I have so many books like this that, January and February were pretty successful, and then nada for the rest of the year. But when I started getting in touch with my creativity, somebody suggested to me, oh, here's Henry. He's going to let us pat his bum. Hey, buddy, could we see your better side? Huh? Could we see your better side? Oh, look how cute, you guys. Do you want to journal? Do you want to journal with me? Okay, we'll just ignore him. When I started really searching for my own brand of creativity and trying to figure out who this woman was inside of this very introverted, demure, conservative, subdued lady, I turned back to journaling. And somebody had suggested Julia Cameron's Morning Pages. She has a book that is a classic called The Artist's Way. I think it's 25 or 30 years old, and it is still going strong. And one of the things that she that is a bedrock of how she teaches artists to really bloom in their artistry, whatever that is to have what she calls morning pages. And when I read about this method of doing journaling, it really unlocked it for me. And I think there was a couple of reasons for it. Okay, so it is 3 pages of unedited writing first thing in the morning. Like, you don't, in her world, you don't get out of bed, you don't get your coffee, and you just go and you just start writing. And so the idea is that you are doing what she calls a brain dump. Oh, here's my other buddy. Let's flash him a turn so you can see. Hey, bud. Hey, you want to talk about journaling? All right. He's my friend. Oh, okay. We'll just keep rolling. Julia Cameron. So the idea is that you are dumping all of the clutter, all of the anxiety, all of the things that you woke up with. You're dumping it all onto the page. Your creative ideas, what you dreamed about, whatever it is. And you don't just stop when your ideas stop, but the idea of writing 3 full pages is that you continue to write even when it gets uncomfortable. And what happens, flash, what happens is oftentimes your subconscious takes over and begins to do the work for you, and that's where you want to get. Now, I tried doing like a big spiral and doing 3 big pages, and let me tell you, I'm not good at that. But I did discover a smaller way that I could make this work for me. And I found these little, I don't know what you call it, a stapled edge from the Rifle Paper Company. And the pages are just the right size so that to fill 3 pages is not too difficult. And it's just a blank little journal. And it was easy for me to write those 3 pages. And what happened was I kept up with it. And those morning pages have become such a source of creativity. It's where I put all of my ideas out on paper and get them out. I don't always do it first thing in the morning, and honestly, sometimes I've skipped some days, but the more I can do it consistently, I will say the last 3 books that I have written, I have worked out my ideas on these pages and written ideas, goals, dreams, what I want these books to be, and eventually those books have become Walking with Henry and The Donkey Principle and Your Mountain is Calling. Those are 3 books that were really, really powerfully born from my journaling exercise. But if you're not writing a book and you're thinking, what do I have to journal about, and how can this work for me? Let me just encourage you how journaling can become a really life-giving habit for you. Number 1, it's a great way of simply getting your thoughts, all the things you've got down inside that you don't talk to anybody about, just getting those things out on the page. There is a saying about writers that writers really don't know what they believe about something until they start writing and see their own words on the page, and that's really, really true. I have gone back many times and looked at the pages and been surprised at my own evolution of thought and how things have become clear when I see them written down. But that's only if you're willing to be honest on the page. And it's important to not think of these pages as something that anybody is ever going to see, because the minute you start writing for an audience or writing because you think that your kids are going to see it or someone's going to stumble across it, then you start self-editing and trying to make yourself look a little bit better, deeper, wiser, whatever the case is. In fact, I just ran across an old journal that I had started back when I had been married about 1 year. And it was so cringeworthy. It was just awful. I was obviously writing as if I was Paul writing the Epistle of Ephesians. It was so affected. Like when one thinks about this or that, it was just, I don't know, but I could look at the page and know exactly what I was trying to accomplish. And I was not real on the page. I was absolutely trying to impress somebody. So that does nobody any good. UPS man is just leaving, if you heard a noise. So back to what it can do for you. Getting your thoughts out on the page. The other thing that it does is that it's a great stress reliever. When I was growing up, we had a couple of emotions that were always accepted and affirmed, and that was love and joy. And so I am really, really good at being joyful and loving. I am not so good at being angry and bitter. Well, I am internally, but not, I'm not good at expressing it. And so the page, the empty page is awesome for writing down what I really feel and helping me to get those things out on paper so that when I do express my frustrations or those negative emotions that I have a hard time expressing, when I get those out on a page, it helps me distill so that I can have the right kind of conversations and express my concerns or my anxieties or whatever it is to a person in real life. And then sometimes it just blows over. So many of our issues of anger and frustration are, temporary and a tempest in a teapot, and sometimes when you see it on the page, you're like, yeah, it's not really that big a deal. I don't need to dwell on that. Then you can just let it go. The other thing that journaling is really good for is just the stress relief. I think there's something that is so therapeutic about sitting down with a notebook and a nice pen and a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and some fuzzy slippers and just sitting there and thinking about your day. I have found that I'm not so good at journaling as a chronicle of my life. Like if I feel like I have to catch up with all the events that I've missed talking about in the past year, no, that is just such a power down for me. But if I think about my journal as morning pages, that it is not for anybody except me, and if I remember to write down that it was somebody's birthday and that we had a nice time and we had a delicious cake, well, that's cool. That's on my mind. I want to write about it. But if I totally miss some important event that happened, it is not a big deal, because that's not what my journal is about. It is not a chronicle of all of the things going on in my life. So journaling is great for just kind of harnessing your creativity, for getting your anxiety out on the page, for working through your ideas, for giving you a sense of calm. It's absolutely one of the bedrocks of my life, especially at this season in life. The last thing I will say is that it really is wonderful to be able to go back even a year or two and find an old notebook and see what you were doing. This one is from 2022, and this is the one I was using when I was writing Your Mountain is Calling. So it has a lot of chapter ideas and things in there, but also has some thoughts about my own feelings of inadequacy. That's kind of fun to look back now, because I was able to work through those things and actually get a book out and write it. So I encourage you to pick up a small notebook, something that is not too fancy, something that you don't mind getting messy and getting your messy, scribbly handwriting in, and you can draw, scribble, write, whatever you want to do. Get that on the page, and you will find that clarity becomes a byproduct of this really wonderful meditative practice. And that's what we're talking about this month. As an intention, clarity has been something that I have enjoyed thinking about and sharing with you. So let's make the last few days of this month in seeking clarity. Tell me about your journals. Do you journal? Do you jot things down? Do you keep a video diary or an audio diary, or in any way to just try to capture your thoughts, feelings, emotions, or chronicle what's going on in your life? Journaling is a wonderful, wonderful way to do that. So see you next week, and we will be talking about a whole new intention. I am so glad to have you along for this year of discovery.